In this video, we are focusing on the math goals, solve equations with variables on both sides. And by the end of the video, you should be able to solve equations using the distributive property, explaining the steps in solving them. You notice that we have a third math goal, but we'll cover that in part 2 of the video. This is part 1. So we're going to jump right into it. The first thing we want to remember is that we're solving equations. And with solving equations, the goal is to get the variable alone. Okay, so that's always in the back of our mind. Every step we make should be closer to getting the variable alone. All right, so here we go. Let's jump right into our examples. Our first big idea, I'm going to show you how to solve an equation when variables are on both sides. So here's our first example. 2x equals 5x plus 2. My goal is to get the variable alone, but to begin with, I can see that I have variables on both sides of the equal sign, okay? So that's going to be an issue. I have a variable on the left side and the right side. So the first step we want to do is get all of our variables on one side. Once they're on one side, we can focus on getting it all the way along. So here's the big question. I want the variable on one side. Which side should I put it on? Well, look at the situation here. If I moved 2x to this side, if I move 2x over there, there will be nothing left on this side, on the left side. So no, we don't want to move 2x. We're actually going to move 5x over to the left side where 2x is. That way all our x's could be on the left side. So how do I move it? So first figure out what you want to move to. How do I move it? Well, since I'm moving across the equal sign, I'm moving to an opposite side of the equal sign, I'm going to do the opposite. So this is a positive 5x. I'm going to subtract 5x on both sides. I'm using the addition property of equality. Well, 5x minus 5x is 0, so that goes away. So I get 2x minus 5x equals 2. Well, 2x minus 5x is negative 3x. So negative 3x equals 2. And then to get x alone, I'm going to divide by negative 3. So x equals negative 2/3. All right, here comes your second example. And I'll only do 2. We'll do more in class. So example 2, 7x plus 3. Oh, pen, come on, pen. 7x plus 3 equals 4x minus 9. Sorry, this pen is going out on me, but here we go. So what's the goal? To get x alone. Well, I have x's on the left and x's on the right. So we need to move something. I'm going to move my 4x by subtracting 4x on both sides. 4x minus 4x is 0. So on the right side, all I have left is negative 9. And on this side, 7x minus 4x is 3x plus 3. Okay? So now I want to get x alone. So I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides. Negative 9 minus negative 3 is negative 12. And on the left side, I have 3x. Divide by 3 on both sides. X equals negative 4. All right, so now let's jump into our next big idea, which is distributive property. What is a distributive property? The first big thing you want to realize, distributive property is always multiplication. We always use multiplication with distributive property. Okay, the idea comes from this. Look, check this out. 2 times x plus 1. First of all, how do I know that this is times, multiplication? Because the 2 is right next to the parenthesis. Remember, when two things are right next to each other, we automatically know that it's multiplication. Okay, so if I say 2 times x plus 1, what does that mean? That means x plus 1 twice. Right? 2 times that means I have 2x plus 1s. Well, if I combine like terms, what would you find? X plus x is 2x. And 1 plus 1 is 2. Come on, pen. So I would get x plus x is 2x, and 1 plus 1 is 2. All right? So that's what distributive property does. So the way we're going to work that, when we have our 2 times x plus 1, we're going to do 2 times x, and then we're going to do 2 times 1. Well, 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, let's do some more examples. What about negative 3x plus 5 times x plus 5? Well, I'll do negative 3 times x, that's negative 3x, and negative 3 times 5, negative 15. So negative 3 times x plus 5 is negative 3x minus 15. That's example 2. And here's a last quick example for you. Negative 3 times x minus 5. Let's see how that changes things. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times a negative 5 is a positive 15. Alright, so now that we know how to use the distributive property, let's solve some equations using the that have the distributive property in them. So we're going from like 1-step to 2-step, multi-step, and now we're just going to call this a whole bunch of steps. Let's see how we do. Here's my first example. Negative 2 times x plus 3 equals 10. First, you always get rid of your parentheses. So whenever you have parentheses in your equation, distributive property should be the first thing you do. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is distribute the negative 2 to the x and to the 3. Because what would happen? That will get rid of my parentheses for me. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And negative 2 times 3 is a negative 6 equals 10. Now we just have a plain old 2-step equation. We'll add 6 on both sides. 16. Negative 2x equals 16. Divide by negative 2. X equals negative 8. Alright, second example. 4 times p plus 2 minus 4 equals 7. See how they're getting a little more complicated. First step, distribute. Get rid of those parentheses first. 4p plus 8 minus 4 equals 7. Notice after I distributed, I just brought everything else down. I brought the negative 4 down. I brought the 7 down. So what did I do first? I used the distributive property. Oh, this handwriting, this pen, guys, is messing up. That's why it looks like I can't write. The second thing I'm going to do, I see I have an 8 and a negative 4 here. I can just combine like terms. Combine like terms. This will give me a positive 4 here. So 4p plus 4 equals 7. Now I have a plain old 2-step equation. So I'm going to subtract 4. I get 4p equals 3. And then divide by 4. So p equals 3 over 4. Remember to leave your answer as a fraction. The last thing I want to show you is a common error that people make. So a common mistake. Watch carefully. Make sure this is not you. All right, check out this one. 6x minus x plus 2 equals 3 times x plus 1. Alright, it looks complicated, but we'll take it step by step. First thing you want to do is go through and distribute, right? So I should distribute this 6x, right? Because it's right there. It's in front of the parenthesis. No. That's a common mistake I see all the time. The 6x is all the way over there. You only distribute what's right next to the parenthesis. Now you'll probably say, well, there's nothing right next to the parenthesis except this minus sign. So if there's nothing there, what we're going to do, we're going to put a 1 here. Okay, we're going to put something there. We're going to put a 1 here. And that's what you distribute. You're going to distribute the negative 1. Okay, so 6x minus 1x minus 2 equals, and we might as well distribute over here too because we're going to have to do it anyway. 3x plus 3. All right, let's combine like terms. 6x minus 1x is 5x minus 2. pen work equals 3x plus 3. The next thing we want to do is collect our terms, right? Because we have x's on both sides. So I'm going to subtract 3x on both sides. Make that 3x go away. So 2x equals 2. 2x minus 2, equals 3. Add 2 on both sides. 2x equals 5. Divide by 2. X equals 5 over 2. There you are, folks.